Let's go back to that breathless first half, and indeed the unbelievable start from City with Kevin De Bruyne's deflected goal.
It was a lucky deflection, I must say. And of course, beforehand, we had the chance with Raheem Sterling. Actually, he had to put it in the back of the net. But yeah, sometimes you need a little bit of luck when you shoot from outside of the box. And of course, Fabinho was complaining here, not looking at Kevin De Bruyne, but this was too easy. As a defensive midfielder, this can't happen. You have to make sure that he can't pass you there at the edge of the box. And of course, sometimes you need a little bit of luck. And it was deflection, and it wasn't 1-0 up. And I think it was deserved at that time, because City was by far the first 50 minutes the better team.
Yeah, City, no question about it, started really, really well. They needed a bit of luck with that, but not like Fabinho to switch off. But if anyone's going to punish it, it's him.
And the reaction from Liverpool at that stage was excellent, wasn't it?
It was, because when you're on the end of an onslaught like they were from Manchester City, it takes a lot of courage, a lot of bravery to get passing again, and not just defend and sit back and shut down the spaces. And it was a fantastic switch of play that started the move from Thiago. And Liverpool, they recycled the ball as soon as it came out. They had men in the right positions to pick it up again and to knock the ball back in. But we see the switch of play here from Thiago, and Trent, like he always does, getting in advanced positions. This was one of his best parts of the game there, that little bit of play, and then not just admiring his play, but then getting into the box again to provide the assist. Robertson on the other hand as well, not shooting, picking the right pass, and I thought that was brilliant. But Jota, the eventual goal scorer, we have highlighted here, and he makes a really good run for the first one, nearly got onto the end of it. And I made the point at half time, once you've made that run, a lot of people almost switch off, because you're in an offside position, they don't come and pick you up. A lot of the time you find yourself free, and he was in acres of space, kept the ball down and got them back into the game.
But City had the foot on the pedal in that first half. We talked long and hard about the team selection, Gabriel Jesus and his run without a goal. That was ended as well.
Well, at the end of the day, Guardiola was right. Gabriel Jesus on the team sheet. But just have a look here, with Trent Alexander just losing the complete sight of Gabriel Jesus at this point. As the last man in the defensive line, you always have to stand open, because you have to look at the situation. And he completely loses him here. And of course, Gabriel Jesus was there at the back of it, and it was a great finish. I mean, that is kind of hard, when the ball comes to that. Mike, he was a striker before, because he knows how hard it is. But just have a look at the distance that Gabriel Jesus have in the space as well between it. So 2-1 up. Of course, you're going in a half-time with a 2-1 lead, so that's always nice.
Jota will be disappointed, because he's screaming at Trent there, isn't he? You saw him pointing his finger saying, "That's your man," and he just fell asleep at that back post. It was amazing, because there was, I think, 4 players in an offside position, but he was the one player that wasn't. He made that late run, and as Nigel said, it really makes that finish look easy. It wasn't easy at all.
Now, it was curious at half-time when we were discussing the second half. You said City have got to start it well. You said Liverpool could do with an early goal. You weren't talking about 46 seconds, though, into the second half.
It was the stuff of dreams, wasn't it, for Jurgen Klopp? And it was a very good goal as well. Rather like the first half, actually. They played a couple of long balls early on just to take the sting of that City press. But then once they picked up the second ball, they played it really, really well. Mo Salah with a great touch, turn, and then weighted pass. You just see that run from Jota, just splits the defence a little bit, and then you've got a huge space for Mane to run into. Lovely weighted ball, and again makes the finish look really, really easy. What a start to that second half.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about it is that Mane and Salah, they feel each other so well. I mean, the connection that the two of them have. But I mean, Guardiola, you can tell here, he's so disappointed, because we said it beforehand. Don't concede in the first 15 minutes. Of course, it was like after 46 seconds. So no coach want to see that.
Well, the noise you can hear behind us is because Jurgen Klopp has come out. The Liverpool supporters are still in the away end, obviously not allowed to leave the stadium yet. So a lovely touch between the Liverpool manager and those travelling supporters, lucky enough to have an away ticket today. Real connection, isn't there, between the manager and the supporters. He's beaming, and he is waving to those supporters.
How can you not like this guy? I mean, I'm City biased, but you cannot dislike this. I mean, this says something about, the relationship he has with his fans. He always takes the time for them. So yeah, he's a great coach for the club and organisation.
Yeah, and he's got an amazing relationship with those fans. I mean, there's very few managers that can come, they can get the team, they can get the tactics, they can get everything about it. but get the place and the people as well. And he has come and he is just the full package. These fans, the people of Liverpool, absolutely adore this man, and there's no, you can understand why. Brilliant manager, brilliant person, and he'll be happy with the result today as well.
Welcome back to the Etihad. More reaction to come after that incredible 2-2 draw between Manchester City and Liverpool, and we are delighted to welcome live touchline here the City boss, Pep Guardiola. Pep, thank you very much indeed for joining us. We thoroughly enjoyed watching that. What was it like from a City boss point of view?
No, the same, I love you. I think as City fans, the Liverpool fans all around the country, so maybe in the world, watching the game, it wasn't, both teams want to play, want to try to win the games. They want that to happen with the quality, both sides, the players, the quality they have. Normally, it's happened in good games.
It was incredible speed and intensity. Did that surprise you in any way? Were you expecting a game like that today?
Honestly, we were playing to be Premier League champion, and if we don't play in this intensity, you cannot compete against Liverpool, or maybe Liverpool cannot compete against us, so we know it. So when we go on Anfield, it's the same intensity for the side, and we need it, and we gave everything, and result is result. So I would say who deserves to win, I don't know. So, but we play to do it.
Pep, we always watch your games and specifically look at tactics with yourself. Was there any reason in particular why you played Jesus today? Was it to come inside with the overlapping fullback, or any other particular reason?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm an overthinking manager, so that's why I'm a genius. So if you see Liverpool, they are so tight, so high. The spaces is in the sides and in behind. In the middle is almost impossible, except in some parts. And we try to, to make more switch of plays and more runners because they are high, because they help to be there, because they are exceptional in that movement to regain the ball quicker, and after the threat in the transition is unbelievable. So look at the second goal. We start, lose the ball, Alexander-Arnold put the ball inside, the more control inside Salah in the moment Mane attack. How many times has done this? 1,000 millions in these 5 or 6 years, but still they do it because they are really good. And that was the reason why. And in general, was Gabriel, Raj, and Phil were amazing, were fantastic in the job they done.
Yeah, you touched base already on the second goal of Liverpool. Of course, when you go into the halftime with a 2-1 lead, how disappointing is it when you come out, when you do your speech, that you have to be composed?
Yeah,
that
Nigel,
you concede after 46 seconds.
Yeah, I would love to say. I think you don't have any player that will learn. So it's football.
True.
So it's football. So say no, you cannot concede a goal in the last minutes. Yeah, you can concede a goal in the last minutes. So it's football. So yeah, Eddie was not good in the decision. We take in, and after the quality they have. So and after we suffer, because the people talk about tactics, but how we can talk about the reaction and mentally when you are in the locker room, like we make an incredible first half and immediately 2-2 because after 1 minute, and we suffered these 5 or 6 or 7 minutes. But after again, Bernardo and Rodri, they took the ball, they took the game, and it's difficult to create chances against them. But if the last minute we have a good decision making with Gabriel pass back and Jack in the last counter-attack to push Kevin coming from behind, the chance we have Riyad. So it was a pity because we allowed them few when it's a team that create a lot of chances, and we create enough to win the game.
But when we spoke this week, you were talking about pushing each other and two great teams over the last 5 years. Have we just seen that in one game again, going head-to-head, toe-to-toe, these two teams?
I think we respect them a lot. They know it, and I think they respect us a lot. So in the last 4 or 5 years, I think we were incredible in nice battle. So Jurgen make me a better manager. Always I try to do what they do and the way they do, and I think the most important thing. So how many regrets can I have as a manager to my players? To our people, honestly, it's impossible. So I know against which team we played, and no one single regret. So we were fantastic, and after 7 games, I know we have to win all the games to be champion, and maybe we're not going to do it. But how many regrets we can have when we fight again after 5 seasons until the end against this Liverpool? So we're going to try now. Try to Madrid, Champions League, FA Cup, and move forward.
Still in your hands, though.
I would say yes. Maybe tomorrow no, but yes. We're going to sleep top of the league, yeah, that's for sure.
Great to see you. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much
guys.
indeed.
All
Pep.
the best.
Thank you very much.
Jurgen.
Oh, there you go. You're going to
told me the last,
hand the baton over.
question, and then it was
This is fantastic, isn't it?
Standing
Live,
us in 10
kick side.
minutes.
Look at this.
See you in 6 days.
Don't know how long we're going to chat, but we're going to wait.
Yeah,
It's not a bad
we just-
For the two
substitution,
best
is it?
managers in the world.
Have a quality.
I told I told her don't do it, but she was against United. She was in the crowd and got an elbow, and now she wanted to go there.
Oh, yeah.
But with the security and another guy.
Bodyguard.
You will appreciate around the world. If there's anyone we're going to wait for, it's Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp. Good to see you.
Ladies,
Coach, how are you? Okay,
I'm good. Yeah,
Whew, we're still getting a breath. What was that like from your point of view?
we're good. I liked it. So after the game to the boys, I said to the boys, I'm happy with a lot of things, but it feels like there was more in for us today. We could have, in all moments when we played football, I thought we caused them more problems than we did in the past. So around goals, generally we played pretty good. We remember goals which we scored here after, 30 passes, or at Anfield, double switch, these kind of things. But what we did around the first goal, that's actually what we want to do more often. The only problem is we lose a ball, and their counter-attacks are really crazy, and you don't just shake that off. It's just, okay, be careful, maybe not in tight areas, pass there, and that's what you saw. But from my point of view, I say it's a fair result, and yeah, we will not stop chasing, obviously. We have now 2 different competitions. Champions League, very important, and then FA Cup against them as well, crazy. Yeah, and from then, when we play Premier League, we will give it a go.
When we spoke last week, you were talking about their insane football. To go behind twice here, but to hit back on both occasions, what does that say about the strength of your players?
If somebody questions the mentality of my boys or character, that would be really crazy. And how it is in football, so you need a bit of luck. The goal we scored was a great goal, but it's like inches. Ball, take it direct, one touch and in. That can happen everything. It can be in the stands, and it's the same character. You just lose the game. So, they started obviously the first half with a similar situation when Ali could make the save. That gave them the momentum. You could see that, and this situation gave us the momentum. So we were really the next 10-15 minutes. We were really in control, and I like that a lot. We have to extend these phases, and then we probably can win a game against them as well.
Jurgen, another characteristic your team displays, and a lot of courage, especially at the back. I always look at you and think sometimes Manchester City were playing in behind, but you've still got that bravery to push up, to squeeze the game, to try to keep your attacks going.
Okay. But in all other situations, when Hendo could step up, because the wingers had to defend the width, obviously, then Hendo can step up, then you saw them turning like this. But there's a moment when you take a deep breath, that's a moment when you have to drop, but you can't, that's not that easy. It's like all of a sudden, he has the ball free, no pressure, and then he chips it just in behind. We were lucky when they scored the goal and it was disallowed for offside. But apart from that, we wanted to be ourselves. And it doesn't mean a crazy high line, it just means we want to put them under pressure where they want to build. And that worked out a lot of times, not all the times. And then, you could suffer a little bit, but that's the way it is.
Jurgen, now the game has been played and you leave the stadium as well. How do you feel? How's your emotion? Do you think it's 2 games of 2 points lost or 2 points won?
No. The season is too long. But if we win today, then we are 2 points up. What is that then? Feet on the chair or what, and say that's it. They will not lose a lot of games. We will not lose a lot of games, hopefully. If we do, then we have no chance. That's fine. If we don't do, but the plan is actually to keep them under pressure. Yes, we were already in a similar situation years ago. We didn't become champion because of 11 inches. People forget that. It was a situation here, in that goal, I think, when Stones and Ederson kick the ball in each other's face, and in the end, Stones can make that save. If that ball is in, we are maybe champion. A few weeks later, Burnley, similar situation. City can score a goal for that against Burnley, and that's the situation. We cannot force luck. We will just try absolutely everything to win our games, and then we will see what they do. But we have other competitions between now and then, it's all good.
Yeah. You do have other competitions, but you've got 7 league games to go. Do you think it's going to be that fine margin again that you're going back to?
Now, hopefully, if it's not a fine margin, then I can see them dropping plenty of points. So we have to be really nearly perfect and ruthless and force luck in these moments in games where we really just win football games, and then we will see if they drop somewhere points or not. We will face them only. Okay, Champions League we could face them as well. So
you could, yeah.
at least one more time, but not in the league at least. So now we have just to make sure the next Premier League games are United and Everton. So against us, they 100% squeeze both a performance out. That we can imagine that. It's not that they just give up and say, okay, we don't want. No, that will be really, really tough for us. But I couldn't be bothered about it. I'm really happy with the situation and our development, and yeah, all good. Let's go.
Let's go indeed. Listen, you said last week the whole world stops for this fixture. It did. It didn't disappoint. Thank you. And thank you for joining us, Jurgen. Great to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Wow. Match day live at the Etihad. We had to wait for Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp live. Doesn't get much better than that, does it?
No,
big Virgil
van Dijk to throw it in as well.
Forget Virgil van Dijk.
I know.
And back to us now, sadly.
Yeah. Sorry, viewers. You're left with Michael Owen and Nigel de Jong.
Cheers, Stephen. It has been a pleasure.
I didn't mean it like that. You know that, Nigel.
No.
Even when you speak to them, as I'm lucky enough to do, and you speak to them now, the mentality of those two leaders for a dressing room to follow.
It's fantastic. I mean, you know, these are the kind of coaches that you want to play for and play under as well. You know, you had your fair share of coaches. I had my fair share of coaches. But these guys, what they did for the last 5 years here in the Premier League is just amazing. And you know, it feels like whenever a new player comes in, he just adjusts to the system and to the mentality as well. So that says something not only from a coach on a tactical point of view, but as a man management. He understands his players to the core as well. And you know, the way how he got a reception here from his fans is also second to none. And then also, of course, the little chat that they had with Guardiola and Klopp, that says also something between the two of them. So yeah, I loved. If I was still playing in my high days, I would still love to play under one of these two coaches.
Does it make you want to get your boots on when you listen to those two and you watch a game like today?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think it's the culture that they've created at their respective clubs, isn't it? You can't do that, you know, in 6 months, in 1 year even. And both of these managers have had time to, you know, to imprint that style of play, that culture within the club, and it just shows you, you know, if you've got the right man and you give them time and you give them money and you give them everything that they need, then they can create two teams like this. And as we said before the game, two of the best teams we've ever seen going head to head. It doesn't get much better than that. That first half, I was literally I was falling off my seat, let alone on the edge of my seat. It was absolutely brilliant, and everything the game should be about.
I'm fascinated to hear Jurgen Klopp there go back to previous seasons and those fine margins, and that could be the difference again as we stand here now with 7 games to go, Nigel.
I think so. I think it's now just a his first mistake. You know, this game is just out of the way. You know, the two biggest rivals play now both head-to-head games, so that's out of the way. So now they have to make sure that they just continue winning their games, and if nothing happens, obviously City is going to be the champion at the end of the season. But I think we're still in for some drama in these next upcoming 7 games. So. Obviously, I'm biased, so I'm hoping that it's not going to go Liverpool's end. But at the end of the day, it's good for the Premier League that it's still so close, because it goes till the end.
Yeah, and from Liverpool's point of view, you said right at the start at 1 o'clock UK time here today, they must not lose, and they haven't, and they've twice been behind.
Yeah, and I almost think that in that last 20 minutes, both managers, if you'd offered them a point, they would have taken it. And the players on the pitch, I thought they both played, even though they still went for it because it's just in their blood to go for it. I still think that they were quite happy with a draw. Liverpool didn't want to be out of this title race, and they would have if they had been beaten today. Manchester City, we're a point ahead. Do we need to risk it? I think both teams reasonably happy at the end of it with a point.